Hey all, good evening. So this is on the types of the data in AI and GenAI. To succeed, you just know the basic what type of the data we have and how we are categorizing that data. That's the basic stuff because when you have to move forward, you have to decide which type of the data it is and what are the statistical analytics you have to take and you have to decide on the basis of your data. So let's start out on the types of data. There are three types of data: numerical, categorical, and ordinal. So in this, why we have to use numerical, categorical, and ordinal? Let's go and see in the next lecture. Okay. So in the numerical, it is of the three type: numerical, and numerical has a discrete data and a continuous data. So in the numerical data, what happen? You can see a quantitative measure. Like example, what's the height of that person? So it's a quantity you can measure. Maybe a 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet means it's a specific one, right? So, how many times a page is loaded? So, it means that you can countable. So, when it is going for the numerical, it means it is a countable and it's you can see the data and you can think, okay, if I will go for example, what are the stock prices of my stock? So that means you can say, okay, it's increased by 50%, it increased by 60%. So you have some quantitative things. Now we will go for the discrete data. So discrete data means you can say it's a specific integer type, right? It often counts how many events had done. Example, you are on the gym. Okay, let's go on the gym example. How many times you have done an exercise, right? So it's a often count of that. How many purchases did the customer make in a year, right? So that's a countable one. When there is a countable one, then we can go for the discrete data. Continuous data is an infinite one, like 99.99999. It can go any number. It's not so much countable. Example, uh, which is uncountable. How many rain fell in a given day? I can't count. How many stars in the sky? Nobody can count. So these are of the data which is a continuous data. So in the short term, if I will go, if you want to know a specific one, then go for you can say discrete data, and if there is an infinite, then go for a continuous data. Thank you. Okay. Categorical data doesn't have any relationship with your mathematical data. Example, what gender you are, female or male? There's no category. There is a category, sorry, but there is no mathematical here. So you have to decide on the basis of the category. Example, you are residing in US. Okay, how many people is in the states you are living? How many people are in the California, right? On the basis of the people, there is a race, right? Like green, yellow. You have some categories. Okay, let's go for the type of the animals, right? So it's one of the category that how many means there's a cat, there's monkeys. There's so you have some category on the basis of that. They are the animals, they are the birds, they are the fishes. So these are the categories. So when there is a no relationship on your, you can say mathematical, and on there is a specifically qualitative terms like gender, residency, political party doesn't have a relationship. Like we live in India, so we have two political parties, BJP and Congress. So there is no mathematical term. So this is a way you are categorizing the things on the basis of some representations. When it comes for the ordinal is a combination of your numerical and categorical. Example, there's a movie released on this Friday. You have to give the rating. So it's 1 to 5. 1 is the highest, 5 is the lowest. Example, right? So you are giving that a rating or to that movie. Okay. So that means a medical term is there, but on the basis of your seeing, not seeing, on the reviews, how is the acting, on the basis of the different categories, you are giving the numerical rating. So that means ordinal. Here also, let's summarize the whole thing in a short video before we will end this. So quantitative data represents the information that is expressed in a numerical and give a mathematical value. That's a quantitative data. So it has a one two things: discrete data and continuous data. Discrete data means with the countable numbers, right? And we can say like you have employees in your company which you can particularly count. But continuous data, there's an infinite values like 99.999, like how many drops have come in of the end. So you can't do that. So the next thing, qualitative data. So qualitative data captures the quality or characteristics through the descriptive data rather than numbers. So when there is a no relationship with the numbers, right, and there is some human behavior or attitude or preferences at that moment, we will go for your qualitative data. Example, like on the basis of certain category like type of the animal, type of the fishes. So on the basis of some, you can say qualitative data, there is no relationship on the numbers. So in this, there is a three things: nominal data. Nominal is subject to your categorical groups or naming classifications. Ordinal data, it describe your rank, position on the basis of the scalable, right? And textual data, that is written in the words, sentences, narrative, textual qualitative data. So at that moment, we will go for the textual data. Now we go for the by origin. So there is structured data, unstructured data, and semi-structured data. So let's go one by one. Structured data means there is a predefined model to organize the information. It means you have some text files, you have spreadsheets, you have a SQL file, something, right? Where these are rows and columns you want to filter, you want to aggregate, you want to analyze, and on the basis of that your data is processed and you are organized in the real world. So that is a structured data. Now there is unstructured data. Trust me, 90% of today's data is the unstructured. It means like you go for the Facebook, so your social media posts, your digital images, your video files. These are unstructured data. You have to search, process, analyze with the transitional method. So at that moment, your big analytical data comes. Now there is semi-structured data. So as the word goes for the semi-structured data, it's a blend of your structured and unstructured data. It includes your JSON documents, XML files, NoSQL databases. It combines your flexible and self-describing structure with the retaining enough organizing for the analysis. Now I go for the by source. So source means primary data and your secondary data. Primary data means you have collected data source directly from the subject being studied, right? It means you have a clinical trial data, you have a website traffic data, you have a survey result, or you have experimental measurement. So it means you are the primary data which grants the data scientist full control to your desired analysis. Secondary data, it it means you are not directly a part of it, right? You get the data originally sourced and compiled by the others. You are just using in your analysis part. Example, you have some public government record, you have a commercial transaction record, web spec, cap, content, social media. So it means secondary data on that. Now, by time. So by time is cross-functional data. It means a data set characteristics at a single point in time. Snapshot taken from the one moment, allowing comparison between the groups, subsets, variable within the same time frame. Example, customer satisfaction survey, blood pressure screening, weekly sales figure. That's it. Now, time series data. It track multiple data points over consistent time interval to reveal pattern and trend over the time. Example includes stock market performance, climate reading, resource usage, web traffic. That's what we have today. So I want to cover all the things that is necessary, and I just gave a, you can say, a glance of it, right? And if you have any questions, any query, please ping me on that and we will solve it. Have a nice day.